up, Glissy Goblins? This is your boy Ed from Elite Savij, and today I'm going to be profiling my Mystic Mind deck profile. It's actually really fun. It's Mystic Mind Burn. I've actually taken a lot of inspiration from our boy Jeff. You guys already know who he is. He's the best Mystic Mind player in the world, my guy. Love that guy. But honestly, I've taken a little bit of inspiration, made a couple of tweaks, more towards my style, and let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. Alright guys, so getting into the deck profile, I'm actually really happy about how this deck has performed for me. I'm so happy that I actually, I re-sleeved some of my cards, and then I also rarity bumped some of them as well. The cards that could be rarity bumped, I tried to rarity bump them as much as possible, but there's just some other cards that just don't have a higher rarity, and it's kind of sad. Like, for starters, Planet Pathfinder. I've actually been playing Planet Pathfinder for actually quite a minute now. I was actually starting to play this card because of Numeron Network, and I think this card is a really good card. It helps you get to where you want to go, or to where you need to be, which is Mystic Mind. Such a great card, and a lot of people don't expect it, because when you normal summon it, you just activate the effect, and it just costs a tribute, so you automatically at the card. They can't effect veil or impermanent unless they do it on summon. So a lot of people don't know that, so let's go ahead and continue. This is actually one of my favorite cards in this deck. This is actually a really good card to start off your combo with if you're playing against Eldritch. I think that Eldritch is one of the toughest decks that this deck actually faces, but you know what? It's not bad. It's just something that you have. And then continuing with the last three cards that I play, it's going to be D-Shifter, Dimension Shifter. So this guy's really good. If against any deck that you start off with going you going second, or you even going first, it doesn't really matter. You can open up your hand and just drop it automatically, and then your opponent is really gonna have a hard time playing against it, especially like a deck like Orcus or Infernables, anything like that. They're gonna have a real struggle playing against you, and it's a really good tech. I think people actually should be playing D-Shifter a lot more. In like a lot more decks now. It's just a really good card. Let's go ahead and continue to our spells. Mystic Mind deck. So of course you got to play the European Mystic Minds. I do have Spanish ones that do look as amazing as these, but in Spanish. But the thing is, just these are just, I don't know, man. I think that I'd rather just play English, because I don't want one of my opponents to be like, hey, how many cards in your side deck? I mean, What does your card say? I hate when people do that. Terraforming, because Terraforming's at 1. Demise of the Land. This is a really good card. I honestly sometimes don't open up a Mystic Mind, but it's actually no worries. As soon as my opponent normals or specials their first monster, of course the card doesn't activate when they normal summon, but a lot of people normal and then activate an effect to special summon, and then that's when I chain, right? I just wanted to make sure that I clarified that, because I don't want people to tell me, hey man, you don't activate this card whenever your opponent normal summons. No, I get it. It's when your opponent special summons, but a lot of their normal summons create a special summon, and that's what I mean by that. Whenever they finish special summoning, you activate this card. And it's actually even better for you, because then they're going to have 2 monsters on field. And unless they link them away, blah, 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 you're not going to have any monsters on field anyway. Let's go ahead and continue to the... Actually, this is one of my favorite cards in this deck, Field Barrier. I like that it doesn't allow your opponent to activate their field spells, so it's actually really busted. But it could be a little situational against specific decks. So let's say they Cosmic Cycle on your Mystic Mind. They can, because Cosmic banishes, it doesn't destroy. So that kind of sucks. But besides that, you're going to go ahead and continue with your Extravagance. You got to play the OG Extravagance, baby. Because if you're not playing the OG ones, you are not playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Right. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so Pot of Extravagance, super great. Because you have an extra deck that honestly doesn't really matter. And I will be showing you guys the extra deck. But you have an extra deck that doesn't matter. So Pot of Dualities. I've been playing these Pot of Dualities since like back in the day, True Draco format, like Masterpiece and whatnot. So these Pot of Dualities are kind of special to me, because I've had them for such a long time. Sorry, my Alexa alarm went off. Today is Sunday, and today is family day, so we're basically spending the day really early in the morning together. Just the Yu-Gi-Oh! Team family. And but let's go ahead and continue with the spell cards. Prohibition is stupid. It's really good, because if I play against like decks like like Altergeist or just any deck that you already know that you don't want them to use a specific card, you can go, you can activate Prohibition and you can call like Invocation, or you can call like Protocol, or Spoofing, or maybe whatever you want. Maybe stuff like Solemn Judgment, Lightning Storms, right? So it's actually really cool because I was playing. I just recently went 5, but it's actually 6. So it was we played a tournament, and out of 6 rounds, I actually went undefeated. But out of five of those rounds, I went 2-0. So I I beat everybody like nothing. First round I played Infernables, and I 2-0'd them. Second round I played Infernables, and I went 2-1. That was actually a little bit more difficult for me. Round 3 I played Infernables, and I 2-0'd them again. Different person now. Round 4 I played. What was he playing? Oh, he was playing Dogmatica Invoked. I think he was playing Eldritch too. I can't remember, but Dogmatica Invoked for sure, and clapped those cheeks. After that, after that, what was it? Robert played Altergeist, and I clapped those cheeks. And then there was one more round with Monarchs, and I clapped those cheeks. But yeah, let's go ahead and continue. So I've been looking at Jeff's build, and he doesn't play these in the main deck, but I believe that this is kind of necessary in the main deck because it just puts a little bit more pressure on your opponent. So one of the things that I do is that I actually final countdown my opponent, but the thing is that it doesn't put enough pressure to where like he wants to scoop. I've had it to the point where like I have Mystic Mine, I have D Barrier, or I'm sorry, not D Barrier, but where is it at? Yeah, Field Barrier. Yeah, Field Barrier. And with Field Barrier, it basically protects, so they can't destroy even if they have a Twin Twister. So a Twin Twister would target both, but it would only destroy Field Barrier, so. But the thing is that when I have Final Countdown, it's just like, oh, whatever, you have 20 turns. Maybe I can draw an out. I fucking hate that shit. I hate when I'm sitting with somebody and they're like, I think I can draw an out. What are you going to draw? Twin Twisters? Yes. Or a Lightning Storm. I'll be like, okay, Prohibition, Lightning Storm, Prohibition, Twin Twisters, Cosmic Cyclones, whatever, man. There's really sometimes no out to this out game, and it's actually kind of sad. But this deck is really stupid because you can even give them Lightning Storm, and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna give you Lightning Storm, but some of your traps really just say no. So you look at the top cards, and when you do that, it's just kind of like an end game for them because it's just like, oh, you're just gonna keep stacking their deck, and whoa, well, I don't want them to have all of this stuff, so I'll just give them a Lightning Storm, and it's okay because you play Cursed Seal. You give them the Lightning Storm if you want. It doesn't really matter. Even if they play 3, it's just they can't activate another one for the rest of the duel, so they're kind of done for. But continuing, Metaverse. And then the next couple of cards, you got 3 Dark Bribes, because Dark Bribe is actually really, really busted. Gets you out of evenlies. So I actually almost lost to Altergeist because they went evenly and I Dark Bribe, and then they did a different evenly and a Dark Bribe again. So nasty, bro. But I got it, dude. And then my opponent proceeded to end, and all he did was just set one card in his turn. And I was just like, oh, wow, is that another evenly? I was like, fuck. But the good thing is there wasn't another evenly, so I was kind of chilling. And then the last cards that I play are Judgments. These are the ones that I activate the least out of all of them. And the reason being that why I main this instead of not is because I saw Jeff not maining this, but he cited it. It's a really good card, but I just personally think that sometimes it's great because you just get that blowout card, or that one card that they definitely need to like win or play Yu-Gi-Oh, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, oh, Invocation. What is Invoke gonna do anything else for the rest of the game, right? Nothing. So that's one of the reasons why I actually main the card instead of citing it, because I believe that there's certain cards that if you hit, your opponent's basically done for. For Infernables, the one card that I saw that I didn't let my opponents resolve at all, and I always either Dark Bribed on any of the 3 matches that I played, or I Curse Sealed it, was Heritage. Once I did Heritage, they were kind of done for, because Heritage is a 3-of, and it's a card that they can activate once per turn. But I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to allow you to do that. No, I'm not dumb. But let's go ahead and continue. It's one of the reasons why I went X0 on that tournament. It was just like, it didn't really matter. For the extra deck, it's actually kind of super loose. I'm not really a huge fan of of like, you know, playing. You know, I'm not really a huge fan of playing super poly targets, but I do side super poly. I do find it sometimes uh, I lava golem my opponents, which is like another card that I do side in, and I almost never super poly them. But it's okay because if I do side in super poly, it's because I know they have dragoons, and maybe like only one Mystic Mine in hand. Then I'll just go super poly, do that shit, attack if they have any monsters on the field, and then just Mystic Mine. I'm okay with having Mystic Mine and Dragoons on their field. And a Super Poly target on my field. I'm completely chilling. But yeah, like I said, a couple of these are basically just like one-ups. These are all one-ups except for these. I play two of these. This is actually a really, really good monster, but it's not the best monster, so I kind of try to avoid it as much as possible, just because I can Predaplant. The other day I Predaplant, Dragoon, and IP, all of the three monsters, which are all darks, and brought this out. And my opponents do that a lot. They built that board, so it's just kind of okay to do that for me. I used to get a lot of hate because they're kaiju people, but I stopped kaijuing, so I started super polying, and I still get a lot of hate, so that's funny. Just a couple of different fusion monsters, I guess. They're chill monsters. It's really nothing too important. All of this stuff you can really play whatever you want, but this is the stuff that's actually helped me go undefeated. Basically, if I had another Nova, I'd probably play a second Nova instead of playing two of these, and then I'll just play like two Novas. But I don't. This is my only Nova, and as you guys can tell, it's super beat up. Oh man, for the side deck's actually really, really good. I believe I have all 15 cards, so let's go ahead and get into it. Lava Golem, because your opponents get burnt, and even with Mystic Mine, they get burnt because it's a passive effect. And I hate when people told me, "No, man, these effects activate. You can't. I can't activate it because of Mystic Mine." No, buddy. The way that it works is that you get burned every standby phase, and you still can't activate effects from your hand, field, graveyard, whatever you want to do. You just get burnt, and then you draw a card, and you draw a card, you get burnt, and then you pass your turn. That's how that works. Twin Twisters, you gotta play secrets because they're beautiful. The one problem that this deck has is that they're really, really bad against back row decks. So, in order to avoid getting clapped by back row deck, you gotta play back row removal. Super Poly. I don't have enough ultras. I have 2 supers and an ultra, which isn't too bad. But you know how I am. I am a rarity whore. I wish I had higher rarities of these cards. Like I think Secret was like probably my favorite one that I had for a while. You already know. Like I said, back row removal because I hate back row. It's just this deck is super good. Like this deck really has the opportunity to be probably one of the best decks this meta, and people just don't see it. Curse of the last, Curse another one, the third one, because sometimes it is actually really needed. But then the last card that I play, this is my own spice. This is my own tech. People don't play this, and I haven't seen anybody play this in forever. This is a great card. This basically says that for however many monsters your opponent has, when your opponent declares an attack, all attack position monsters your opponent controls lose 800 for each monster they control. So it doesn't target, it just affects the monster. So basically, if they attack you for like 4k with a Dragoon, you can just go activate wall, and wall disruption will basically say they lose 800 for every single one. And if they have like 2 monsters on field, that's 4k minus 16. That's already still 2200 or 24. I'm sorry, but it gets you a turn or two. You know, it saves you instead of getting fucking murked. But guys, this was my undefeated Mystic Mine deck profile. I'm actually super excited about how it did. I literally put the deck together, what was it, a week ago, and I said, hey, you know what, I gotta start test playing, I gotta start playing it, I gotta see how it does. A lot of people hate this deck, so it's actually really hard to test play with my friends because they don't want to play against this deck. But I mean, like, it's okay though. As long as I clap their cheeks and they're happy, I'm chilling. Guys, this is Ed from Elite Savij. Have a wonderful day, guys, and take care.